Dion Lawrence, I want to talk about the use of AI in job hunting because it's now infused in absolutely every aspect of life, including both ends of the job pursuit. But also, Dana and I are hearing train wrecks of people misusing it in the job hunting. And that's what I like to discuss with you as well. And it's exciting to have you here today.
Well, thank you. Thank you both, Martin and Dana. Uh, Great opportunity. I appreciate this opportunity that you all have given me to speak on this subject. It's great to be here. I appreciate this opportunity to both Dana and Martin.
Yeah, and Dana, would you give a little bit of her bio because it's quite
It
extensive?
is an incredible background, and including including over 20 years with General Motors, and she rose up from. She started as a laborer there, which is a really incredible, and then got her master's or got her degree from Michigan State and Oral Roberts, and built a big career at General Motors. Since then, she's launched her own consulting called You Are a Priority, and she specializes in bringing AI to learning and development,
Mhm.
for various organizations, integrating AI
Mhm.
like is so necessary in many cases today. And she is also a certified recruiter and interviewer, and certified in one of our favorite topics, Chat GPT,
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
along with Canva,
Yeah,
which it
a
can be
great
really
tool that
helpful.
just bought a Photoshop program, basic
Yes.
competitor. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, and she is very, very passionate about leveraging technology to empower people, which I think is very important for us to understand. She is a volunteer at Dress for Success,
Oh,
which
great
is an
group.
incredible organization, and a proud member of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Inc.,
All right, we better
which
mention the start. In fact, I think I see it over your shoulder there on the wall. Is that right?
You do. You
Yeah,
see
yeah,
it as a
excellent. Well,
crest.
let
Yes, you do.
this is wonderful. So let's just start with where should people start in using AI for their job hunting? And we'll begin with the basics that you recommend, and then we'll make sure to
Okay.
cover the don't do this or be this person.
Okay. Well, one of the things I would recommend is when you have a particular area that you're interested in applying for, or whether or not you're transitioning into a new career, what I would do is once you establish what that area is, you can use ChatGPT. Well, there's various versions of ChatGPT. My favorite version is Social Butterfly, and that is complimentary if you have ChatGPT Plus. You have to have a subscription for that. So what I would do is take all my ideas, and in ChatGPT, I would say, I'm looking for jobs in, let's just say, entertainment. So I'm looking for jobs in entertainment. Specifically, I'd like to look at being a producer, particular in, let's just say, the Southwest regions. Can you list me the top 10 companies that you would recommend I apply for? And then Social Butterfly is going to list the companies. Here are some companies. They'll list the companies, and you have some place to start with. Now, to continue on, you could also, once you get the list of companies, then you could ask Social Butterfly, which company do you recommend, and why do you recommend these companies? So then Social Butterfly is going to reply. This is why I recommend this company, company A, company B, company C. And if you're wanting to go more towards this route or more towards another route, this is the particular company that I would recommend. And you can keep on, you can just keep on going. Okay, what about? And she's just going to continue to answer your questions. Now, The key also is making sure you have the right prompts, because what you put in is what you get out of it.
Yeah, and one thing to mention, if people are brand new to this, is it's a thread like the early forums that exist. When you start a conversation, it's going to generally remember what's going on so you don't have to restate things. So you can just
Right,
keep asking the next question. And that's the real value of these is it follows the thread. Sometimes when they're
right.
really long, you might have to restate it, but that's an important aspect. And what you're using this for is an idea base, not a final answer, but an idea to get started.
I want to ask social butterfly versus regular
Mhm.
chat GPT. Does it is it more accurate with some of that information, or is it just what's the benefit of social butterfly versus regular chat in this exact scenario where you say look up companies?
Well, the reason I prefer Social Butterfly, one, it's um, my mentor, who is Nicole Murray, who has her own marketing company. She is the one where I was certified with the Chat GPT as well as the Canva. She has what they call mogul school. So she has a variety of AI classes. So that social butterfly is one that she created that. One of the reasons why I enjoy it, aside from enjoying because my mentor has created it, you're talking more to a person, if you will. You don't feel so much like you're talking to a machine. Social butterfly also, she remembers your conversation as other chat GPTs, and her features on that particular chat PT are so vast. One, you get to remember the conversations, they have a history. So if I want to go back to a conversation I had 2 days ago, I can go back and see that conversation and get some ideas, or just as a reference, if I'm writing something. Another thing is it has various languages where you can convert, anything that you're writing into the numerous languages. And also with her as a minister, and she also created that, not as a faith-based chat GPT, where faith-based content. Now, in saying that, social butterfly is not restricted to responding in a faith-based manner. So, and the other thing, Social Butterfly has ranked number 17 in various chat GPTs.
Yeah, I'd like to, Dana, explain how this works a little bit. You've got ChatGPT, and really to get the performance, you want to be paying for it. And then they rolled out this year GPTs, which is like apps on a phone, but you have to at least have access to ChatGPT. In fact, I just looked it up here. I'll just put it on the screen. See if you can see
Mm-hmm.
it. That's it. You see?
That's Social Butterfly.
Yep, yep, 17, rank 17. So it is an app, it's an app that runs on ChatGPT, and this is something that's going to roll out more and more. But they were the first to really make it readily available, and it was a game changer in that now you had kind of like apps on the phone that weren't real hard to develop. You really generally don't have to learn Python to work on them, and you can train them. I've done it for my digital marketing. I just rolled it out as an advisor for my digital marketing certificate program. And this is exciting because anyone can access it. They don't have to work with it. She's made it publicly available. And this is the one you like for asking for help for job hunting. So this is a good skill because being able to even talk on the job application, I at least know how to use ChatGPT, and I'm familiar with GPTs, and learning what that is another thing that could help them on a job, because so many people don't. I mean, they many people just think ChatGPT is AI, and it's not. It's one of thousands of interfaces and systems. But knowing that you know a nuance of it and the skill to use it, I think that's a competitive advantage in the job market too,
Yes.
don't you?
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
what we've got is now a way to start using it. What you recommended for content and for finding businesses and getting ideas. I'd like to move to what not to do with AI and talk to you about that, because all Dana and I have seen many of train wrecks happening on this, but I want to hear yours. Don't do this in the job market on AI, and see what yours is, and we'll throw ours in also.
Okay. One thing I would say is referring back to making a resume. Don't let AI actually make or create your whole resume. Because, just to go in, hey, these are some credentials. Here's, what I've done. Can you make me a resume? And then when AI prints out, or social butterfly prints out this resume for you, is that resume really your resume? And does it truly explain your skill set? Because it's just going to generate what you tell it. So if you don't revise it after it prints, or prints out a resume for you, recruiters are going to be able to tell, oh, this is straight from
Oh yeah,
chat
yeah, and
GPT, because there's no personal tone to it. So, and even in anything else, let's say you're writing a letter, or you want to do a devotional. I'd like to do a devotional on uh, children's. I'd like to do a devotional on empowering women. Please create one. So there's no tone from you that's going to be in that devotional. Now, if you say, I'd like to create a devotional, I'd like to have these scriptures and any other scriptures pertaining to, let's just say, love. I'd also like to have a scripture, at the bottom of each page. I'd like my uh, I'd like my statements to be categorized. Okay, but now remember, this is information you've already created prior to ChatGPT. So this is your information. So once you do that, then you'll go in Social Butterfly and say, I need help formatting this. I'm creating a devotional to empower women. Here is the information that I have. Can you help me set up a format for this devotional? So that is how you use it, that helps you work smarter, not harder. But you always have to make sure your voice is in it. If your voice is not in it and you take it exactly the way it produces, and you don't put any of your own personal information in terms of I need help creating, then to me it's just a general document. It has no voice. It's just a computer generated document.
yeah, and then the people interviewing are onto this, so they're going to ask
They are.
questions, especially if you generate facts. For gosh sakes, on it, they're getting smarter to ask questions to cross check. They're looking for signs. We've heard stories of the resume where it's clearly there are patterns on ChatGPT of words that it will often generate, and they'll be in that, and it's like, wow, this whole resume was generated by ChatGPT. So if you want to get thrown out quick, do just that. The other thing is cover letters, and I've heard they sent one where it said, "Do you have other questions?" Left it into the letter at the bottom of it.
Oh
I
no, no,
even know
no.
someone turned this in as a homework assignment for Justin and had the "What else would you
Oh
like to know"
no.
in the paper.
And he's a professor.
Yeah, he's a professor, and he's teaching
Yes,
AI with me. So it's like that was an
yes.
easy one. I
And
said, can we
that
take
is
the name off and
why.
use it as an example of what not to do? So this is very important. They're getting onto this and aware of it. And like one of the things you said so valuable is it's got to have your voice. So you need to
Yes,
know what your voice is and have it, because they're going
yes.
to look through that and they'll use things. If you try to fool yourself to look like something you can't respond to live on an interview with no
Correct.
notes around you, you're
Hmm.
going down a pitch. And I just want to tell you, Dana, somebody was going to take a certification. They said, we'll walk you through the certification live and help you pass it even if you don't know it. I said, you need to run for that,
Yeah.
because when they
Yeah.
Oh
find it,
God.
not only is it unethical,
Yeah.
but if they
Uh-huh.
find out,
Yeah.
you'll be blocked from ever being able to take. And he wasn't going to do it. He just wanted me to
Hmm.
know. This is
Hmm.
like, I'm going to say it's kind of like, a black belt in suching certification, and they'd have a laptop and they basically let you cheat through the whole thing. They're getting onto this and know this is happening, and they're getting better and better in really being able to weed these people out. The key you said is use this for ideas, convert it into your own words, and then make sure it aligns with something you could answer without notes in front of an interviewer.
Hmm. Exactly. And referring back to, it needs to have your tone. If someone just strictly does, a generated answer, resume, when you actually get in that interview, you've got two different voices. You have the voice of this generated, document, and then when you start to speak, that's not matching, the verbiage or the language in your generated, computer generated document.
Well, what we've talked about, to kind of go to the 30,000 foot here,
Yeah.
is Dionne and I talked about this, and Martin and I have talked about this. It's really the large language models like ChatGPT and AI are good for three things. And we've talked about research. You have to
Mhm.
be careful though, because
Hmm.
sometimes, it
They
hallucinate.
hallucinate. Yeah.
And then secondly, so you have to verify.
Hmm.
Yeah. And then
Absolutely.
secondly is for idea generation. Like you say, I
Hmm.
can key in some things. What might an interviewer ask me about the job that I'm applying for,
Hmm.
Right.
during the interview, and with a few prompts and keywords and job description material and all that, it can pop some stuff out. And then thirdly, what we're talking about though, it's really when it comes to the text part, it's really nothing more than a writing assistant, not a it's not a
Exactly.
it's not an editor per se. It can do some editing, but it's not like you've said here. You can't just take it verbatim for the reasons you pointed out. Things like, do you have any more questions, which was
Right.
from the output.
Right.
I have noticed too that in addition to formatting that it likes for like
Mhm.
resumes and cover letters, it kind of has a standard preference itself. All right, but it loves the word spearheaded and oversaw.
Right.
So if to your point, Dion, if somebody just pops in a job description and says, write me a cover letter, or they
Hmm.
put in their old resume, say update this for AI, you're probably going to see the output say several times spearheaded and oversaw. So
Yeah.
that's an easy clue for a recruiter to
Yeah.
say this person really didn't put much thought into this thing. Now the flip side of this, and you said earlier, Dion, and we've experienced this too. There are some people who feel that using AI for any purpose, especially writing as a writing assistant, is like cheating or plagiarism.
Hmm.
What are
Hmm.
your thoughts about the appropriate use of it? And is it cheating and plagiarism in your mind?
It if an individual uses it the proper way, the way it was intended. If a user uses it in the way it was intended to be used, then it's great. Now, on the other side, in terms of people feeling like uh, it's plagiarism, well, only if you don't add your voice to it. Only if you take whatever social butterfly has generated, if you're asking, for help writing this or something like that, then yeah, it would be plagiarism because, again, you're not putting your own voice to it. You're just taking what they say, and you have more of a computerized voice then. And like you were saying, Dana, people can see that, spearheaded, that they look for the common words that are generally generated from AI. Okay, what was the other question?
Whether you feel it is cheating or plagiarism.
I also don't feel that it is cheating if, once again, you are using it more as an assistant. And that, again, that you're not just asking AI to just make you a generic document and not having your voice in it.
Yeah, and for example, Dana, just like check this for like a grammar checker like Grammarly, or uh, maybe having it rewrite it and then convert it
Mm-hmm.
back into your voice. You go, okay,
Mm-hmm.
that's a different way to say it. I could identify with that phrasing and then accept it. I have no problem with that. It's when you have it generate stuff that there's no way you would know it, and if you were cornered and someone asked further information on it, you would just have a blank look on your face. Now we really have a problem with it. The other thing I want to cover, Dana, is kind of looking at from the employer's perspective, because they're starting to use more AI as well in screening applicants. And this is a whole nother field. We might want to have a different show on it, but this whole nother field that there's more of that going on than ever before, because they're looking for ways to be more efficient, even beyond just the keyword search.
I can comment
Yeah.
on that a little bit. And Deanna, I think we're both trying to understand more about how it's used in recruiting. There's a bunch of applications that have come out,
Mm-hmm.
enhancing the applicant tracking system, making it more
Mm-hmm.
efficient. But one thing that she and I talked about earlier is that there was a study that came out, 7 major companies using AI in recruiting. And they said it's getting more applications, it's getting a little more refinement on those keywords and all that kind of stuff. But the major thing that came out that struck me is that they are saying that it helps them find internal candidates better
Mm.
than they used to be able to do. And quote unquote, the HR manager, I forget the name of the large company, but she said it used to be that our internal candidates who were looking for promotion had a better chance to go to LinkedIn, pull our job post, and apply through the outside system than it was the system we were using before. And AI is meaning now we're able to go to our internal candidate, our employees, our
Mm-hmm.
profiles, and so forth, and pull them before they have to do any of that. So to me, it tells me that AI is creating, as a job seeker, all right, we love the benefits of technology, but as a job seeker, guess what? Probably more competition
Mhm.
for each job as a result of AI. That's what I'm concluding so far.
Yeah.
I think it's
Mm-hmm.
still a story to be told and understood,
Right.
Right.
but the indications are, as a job seeker, AI from a recruiter standpoint isn't necessarily your friend unless you like have all those perfect keywords and you are the ideal candidate. Then likelihood you will not be subject to the being kicked out by the ATS, maybe as you were in the past. I don't know. We need to interview some ATS companies to understand
Yeah, right.
exactly what's
And they'll
going
tip
on.
their
Yeah,
hand on that too.
yeah, that would be a great show.
So I have a funny story before we finish, and I think we've got
Okay.
about
Yeah.
2 or 3
Yeah.
minutes left. I have a funny story, okay? Um, I started using ChatGPT early on. I think
Right.
Martin
Yeah.
turned me
Yeah.
on to it,
I
like
did.
he does every bit of
You
technology.
need to
He
learn this.
he's my early adopter, and then he
Right.
calls me up and he gives me the user-friendly version of how to use stuff,
Yeah.
and then I adopt it.
Yeah.
So I've been using intensively almost every day for writing assistance
Right.
and research for a year and a half, I think,
Yeah.
GPT. And last year, I thought, and I've learned how to use the prompts really well, so it does kind of pick up on your voice, right?
Right.
This is a true story. You guys are going to laugh at me. Um, I it was my wedding anniversary, and I thought, "Well, I wonder what it would say."
Right.
You know, if I prompt it with some stuff. And I put in some context for chat about my wedding anniversary, my wife Sterling. And I said, "Write a wedding anniversary letter."
Mhm.
And it kicked out a 2-page pitch perfect letter. It was my voice. I
Wow.
I don't think I changed one word because it
Well,
was so
it's so
pitch
well
perfect.
done.
I
Yeah.
would have written that, right?
Wow.
So I, in my authenticity, which got me into trouble,
Yeah.
I hand wrote at the bottom when I gave it to her, I said,
Generate.
powered by ChatGPT. And I thought since I had turned her onto chat and
Yeah.
she'd been benefiting from it, she would appreciate that. She didn't.
No,
She
because
looked at me and said, "This is trash."
yeah, right, of course, because she wouldn't believe.
I said, "It's really me. It's what I would say." It's just
Too late now. Yeah, that's a great one to have it. I want to add a piece of another thing is this is all pointing to the importance of what we've taught, and I'm sure you do too, of how you've got to be building your network, the organic, the human
Mhm,
touch. That's
mhm,
still that's more than ever your competitive advantage. I just talked to a young man today, and he's going into a field through kind of a 2-year type program, and he realized he's competing against people in a university. And I
mhm.
said, look, if you build your human skills, because he's a great
Right.
waiter, so he knows how to do it, if you build those human skills and then you really figure out what you're best at in this field and sharpen that, you'll be ahead of someone with the 4-year degree who thinks because I've got it, I've got some easy ticket in. And because that's where we're telling people build those human skills more, get
Right.
better at
Right.
handling in person things. Get your Toastmaster certificate. This is one of the most important areas to do. A quick story on the job hunt. Someone, a young man, Whitney's son was he put in some applications that were there, and then he showed up at the business and just knocked on the door and said, went to the front desk and said, "Hey, I'm so and so. I just want you to know I actually applied for a job here in case someone would want to meet me." Kids don't
Mhm.
have enough initiative to try that. I would have never thought. I would have thought when I grew up, where everyone's doing that and so forth, they got them connected to somebody there because no one will like show up. You see, and I went, when he told me that, I go, you need to keep doing that. You know, I mean, obviously, if they say, you're not allowed in or something, but I thought that was ingenious. That's that human touch
Right.
using these tools that now we have a competitive advantage. It may go away. Better develop those now, not later.
Well, and all 3 of us have worked in the past for major corporations. You worked
Yep.
for
Yep.
IBM, I worked for a major industrial manufacturer, she worked for GM.
Hmm.
And then all 3 of us have gotten into consulting in one form or
Hmm.
fashion or independent contracting. And we know from our past and our present that AI, technology, anything, and I'm sure you're teaching this in your integrating your AI
Hmm.
and L&D, learning and development, but it's those skills that are going to be ever more important, right? And we think, well, technology solves all these problems, but those human communication skills, I mean, I think it's clear if I were to do professional development, not only learn AI, but take a class or Toastmasters in
Hmm.
communications.
Yes.
Take one, hire Dionne to help with
Yes.
your learning and development in the workplace because that's going to be the key
Yeah.
to getting things done.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I agree with that. And I want to ask one more story. At IBM, I was in field service. I remember my boss saying our field was solving hardware and software problems, okay, in the field with computers with IBM. And he said, I would rather have someone who knows nothing about the computer, but's excellent in handling objection, can have someone upset with them, can build
Mhm.
rapport, can build, respect and address and know how to escalate things when needed over someone who knows it well without those skills. Because I know then I can send them in and they'll call me if they need help. What
Mhm.
scares me is someone who knows all the technical but has none of those human skills, and they're going to be at the bottom of the list. So that's why I think along with this, like my podcast on Future Shock, along with this, developing the skills that you help people with,
Mhm.
the human skills are equally, if not maybe more important now at this
Mhm.
point, along with learning the AI.
Yeah. And I'd like to circle back to what you were saying not too long ago, where you were saying the human interaction, with job search. There's how I would use AI to still assist in getting that human interaction is, let's say the topic human resources. Then what I would do is ask AI, go into Social Butterfly, and say, I am looking for some networking groups that focus on human resources. I'd
Mhm.
like that group to be, let's say, within 50 miles of Grand Prairie. Will you give me a list of those groups? So once AI, Social Butterfly, gives you that list, then you can begin to contact them or start going to their networking activities. And just again, it's that human interaction and build relationships.
Well, that's great. And, I think we're curious, and probably people listening are curious. We're not pitching anything, no one's spit, but how much is Social Butterfly?
It's free. It's one that I just found it online or the
It
basic
comes,
app.
Social Butterfly is free when you have a subscription to Chat GPT Plus.
Okay.
Right, which is
Yeah.
$20 a month
Yeah.
right now.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
absolutely. That's
Okay.
the great
Wow.
correction.
Wow.
Yes, and I'll put it in the link below. I already got the link. So
That's
check the
Okay.
so
text
great to
below and have
know,
it. We'll also get your LinkedIn profile. We'll put
Okay.
that below as well for
Wonderful.
people to find out, and any other things where if they want to reach out to you to learn about the resources. Well, I think this was a really valuable thing for anyone job hunting to give them an idea. Yes, you can use it, but don't be
Mhm.
that guy where they're taking your resume around the office and getting laughs or your email they're printing. Oh, look at what this person did.
Right. Right.
or two identical resumes from two different people.
Right.
Yes. Yes. Or leaving, like you said earlier, Martin, leaving the prompt that AI gave you. Here's some more questions. If you have any more,
Well, it's
questions.
even better if you leave the timestamp
Yes.
on there so you can really incriminate yourself.
That's right.
Right.
That happened
Right.
too. They left the timestamp on it as well. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's even Paul that sells on eBay. There are people putting listings up that are wrong, and it says, "Would you like more?" Right on. It's like, God, it's even wrong. So yeah, don't be that guy. We're filtering and
Right.
we're getting better at filtering the game systems with AI, and
Mhm.
especially in the job market. They have to. They have to get better. They're got better
Mhm.
tools. So, like you said, use it to inspire, not to create the final product.
Oh gosh, it is extremely hot. All this week, it's going to be in the hundreds, and I think the high is 103.
Mm.
So it's like walking into a sauna when you step outside.
But we really appreciate this a
Yep.
whole lot. Martin puts a lot of effort into the editing, and it takes quite a few hours. So